So, well, the conversation today is going to be with Dr. Sandesha, and she happens to be an assistant professor in JNU.
With my listeners and followers. On the phone line with me is Dr. Sandesha. She's an assistant professor at the JNU, and she has been conducting online classes as well. Dr. Sandesha, thank you so much for talking to me.
Simply you on Afternoons with Annie.
Oh, thank you, Annie, for actually calling me, I would say. How are you doing, Annie?
I am not doing bad at all, working from home just like you. Tell me your experience.
Well, the lockdown has been a complete life-changing experience for a lot of us. And the only people who can make it are the ones who are ready to adapt to the situation, I would say. And one of the first things for me was that initially the first week I was also completely zapped. I was like, what do I do? How do I connect to my students? I mean, it takes time for everybody to kind of grasp the situation. This is the point where I'm going to thank the teachers of our country, of our nation, because the way my daughters, they study in a well-known school in Delhi, and the way the teachers got in touch with my children and started off the classes through Zoom and everything. I mean, if you would have asked me in the month of March, first week, what is Zoom, I would have told you, I don't know. Okay, Zoom was just a word which meant zooming past by, that's it. But by the end of April, everybody knew what Zoom was. And then what happened was that after a week, I thought, why don't I also try to get in touch with my students? And then we had a little bit of, connection with the people who were there in WhatsApp groups. And as you mentioned, I teach in JNU. In JNU, we have students from all over the country. We have students from the remote areas too. I have students who don't have a smartphone. Forget about a laptop. So how do I connect to them? So, it was, trying to reach out to the maximum that you can. The entire thing about, actually trying to learn also, one of the good things about being in a university which is among the top universities in the country is that our Vice Chancellor actually asked one of our deans, Professor Shandar, to actually plan out something where we could start, empowering teachers around us, not only in JNU but around the country. So initially, he, along with another colleague of mine, Dr. Sonu Saini, they planned something known as a VTOM, which is a workshop which is empowering teachers through online methods. And we actually initially started with 100 teachers of JNU and others, and then the second and third one actually reached out to more than 1,000 faculty from all over the country. So, and you won't believe it, even now, we're not only, giving sessions or whatever, we're actually also sitting for our own kind of learning experiences where we are trying to learn from our colleagues through various webinars. We're attending them in the evening. Let's imagine, in the morning I'm giving class to my students, and in the evening I have to take a class where I also empower myself. So these kind of, learning process was very important for all of us, I think, and we somehow managed it.
Don't go anywhere. This is Dr. Sandesha, assistant professor of JNU, who's in conversation with me right now. Simply you, and I'm in conversation with Dr. Sandesha, assistant professor at JNU in Delhi. Dr. Sandesha, I think it's commendable to know that you are so busy these days. I'm sure it must have been very, very difficult. How have you coped?
Simply you on Afternoons with Annie.
Oh, well, I think the best thing about being a human is that you have these mechanisms. You just have to make sure that you don't let this kind of a stress to get down to you. Now, I want to give you one particular aspect about this online education thing, all right? A lot of people say that, hey, why is it important? Do we really need to have this? I know of colleagues who didn't want to even start off with online classes. And I was like, no, we have to connect to our students. They need us the most right now. Students in the universities, they were caught in the middle. They were either in their hostel rooms, they were either with some PG. I remember students who were all alone. Like they had booked their train tickets, they had booked their flight tickets, and then the lockdown happened. So that was an entire process which was happening all over the country, I believe. And I think when teachers started taking classes, there was a sense of normalcy wherein people, I will never say that the situation which we are in right now is normal, but we have to make the best out of the situation. The whole thing about the online sessions is that as a teacher, as an educator, you need to have that human touch. You have to have a human element. Whatever you use, as a teacher, you need to connect to your students, because I just now finished off with my evaluations for my research scholar students, and the minute I finished my session and then, I told them this is the last class because we're taking a break. So they were all very sad. They were like saying thank you, and they were all talking to me individually. And then 2 days later, immediately I get a call from one of the students saying that, ma'am, I want to tell you something. And she called me early in the morning when I was making breakfast. And she told me that, ma'am, I want to tell you that I'm scared I might get into depression. I said, why? What happened? And she goes like, ma'am, because your class is what we were looking forward to every day. And I didn't know what to say, because for a second, obviously, you also get emotional as a human being. But then I controlled myself and I said, beta, even I was looking forward to giving the classes. So you're not the only one. And this is a very human thing. Don't worry about it. And don't worry. Just, hang in there, and we're going to get back in action again. So I think teachers who are listening to me right now, you know what I'm talking about. I know it's difficult to reach out to all our students, but if we can reach out to even the few of them, that would help. That would really, really help. So I go down to all the teachers who are listening to me right now, Annie. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you so much for talking to me, and extremely important it is in every organization, actually, in every institute, in every workplace, and even within homes, that people need to talk to others and help them, catch hold of the situation and be able to wade through it. Waters, and there's nothing that a good conversation or opening up of the heart can't do. Thank you for sending out such positive vibes and for sending out the words of advice and wisdom. Thanks again for being on the show, Dr. Sandesha.
Oh, thank you so much, Annie. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Take care. All the best
so much again. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
On Afternoons with Annie.